Hey friends! In this video we are going to take a closer look into the soul war spawns and the game mechanics. The past 12 months Tibia had a lot of changes. The vocation balance and an insanely hard update was introduced. We are going to take a closer look into the consequences of these changes, and I will tell you why nerfing the spawns like the soul war is the wrong approach. The soul war spawns were introduced in July 2020. It was a game changer, and even Satra's library, which was until this point the hardest place in Tibia, was barely a challenge against the soul war. Of course, this also meant that Cipsoft needed to reward the players with a high reward, because the risk was so high. These spawns were definitely on another level. The monsters had new abilities that were never seen in Tibia before, such as the rooting and the fearing. On top of this, respawns like Ebb and Flow had environment changes of the map. All in all, you can say that these respawns were even hard for the high levels and the top levels. In the earliest state of the soul war, almost every creature gave you over 30k XP. It was the meta of these spawns that knights were using defense sprays and sorcerers using ultimate healing runes most of the turns. After a while, Cipsoft started to nerf the respawns, beginning with the Rotten Golems in September 2020. In November, the vocation balance took place in Tibia and a lot of things suddenly changed. Knights got a new spell that reduced all the damage by 15%. On top of this, the sorcerer got a new spell that reduced the damage incoming from monsters by 10%. Last but not least, the knight got a new Res, which was putting monsters from distance close to him. This had a huge impact on the soul war spawns. The spawns got easier since you could pull all the distance monster melee. But the biggest impact came from the new damage reducing spells of the sorcerer and knight. Suddenly, lower levels started to hunt the soul war spawns, which were normally intended only for like the top levels and really high levels. Shortly after the first nerf, the second nerf wasn't waiting long. This time in December on the Krater and on the demons. Players soon figured out that the top experience was now in the mirrored version of Thais and in the Ebb of Flow, because this was the only seals that haven't got nerfed yet. So they went there and they made insanely high XP. 3 months later, in March 2021, Cipsoft reacted again and saw that the vocation balance made the spawns much easier. They tried to counter it with a change and made creatures walk in fields, which wasn't possible before. Then they also reduced the amount of distance monster that you could pull with the Exeter Armbrest from 5 to 3. Last but not least, they made a new spell ability that attacked up to 4 players on the screen and could not be dodged. In April this year, the final nerf came. Players expected that the nerf would come to the Ebb and Flow and mirrored version, but Cipsoft also decided to nerf the other 3 seals as well, even though they have been nerfed before. Ebb and Flow, which was the hardest of all seals, got overkilled by a 37% nerf and now was officially a dead spawn. The players went back to other seals like Rotten Golems, Krater and Brachiodemons. At this point, these 3 seals were completely fine balanced. They were still the hardest spawn in the game, but still most rewarding in terms of XP. The loot itself was good, but if you keep in mind that you were forced to use a defense spray, which is extremely expensive, the profit would have been better in other respawns. That's not all. Cipsoft decided to give the spawns a final grave with the upcoming update on the 1st June. Once more, all of the 5 seals will get nerfed. This time, the nerf will be so fatal that the spawns will officially be dead. The Infernal Demon, with 32,000 health points, will only give you 17,600 XP points. As a comparison, the Brain Squid from the library has 18,000 health points and gives you 17,672 XP. So basically 72 experience more, while it almost have the half of the HP and is much weaker. All in all, you can clearly see that the soul war spawns have suffered from extreme nerfs, and something must have been completely went wrong when a monster had to be nerfed from 32,500 experience points in the first version to now down to 17,000 experience. What about all these players that have hunted the respawns for almost a whole year with the old experience values? And how do players now feel? that maybe slowly reached the level to start hunting the spawns, and now they nerfed them to the ground. Problems over problems and a lot of mad and sad customers. Let's find out what went wrong and see why Cipsoft decided to nerf the spawn again. In the teaser for the upcoming nerf on the 1st June, they wrote the following. We still consider both the XP and the loot too high, especially in regards to the level range that are currently able to hunt there profitably. So basically, this means the big motivation behind this nerf is that level ranges that hunt the server are too low for what they intended the spawn to be. But is this the respawn's fault or is it the player's fault? Absolutely not. Cipsoft gives you the option to use a defense spray for Tibia coins. This is the main problem. Players are using them. This alone reduces the level to start that spawn. In combination with the new spells for the damage reduction plus equipment with imbuments, the Soul War spawns are getting quite a choke for the damage. All combined has such a huge impact that breaks the game, and level 350 teams will be able to start hunting in the Soul War. Look at this example. On the left side you can see the damage without defense sprays, Utamo Tembo, Zap Strange. On the right side you can see the damage taken with the maximum defense. As you can see, the hits are supposed to take like 1000 damage, suddenly only take 300 to 500 damage. That changes the spawn a lot, because the Druid and the Master Sorc can easily keep up with their healing on the night, and the spawn suddenly becomes viable. The main problem here is not the Soul War, guys. The scenario is working for every respawn. I recently started a night from level 1 on a new server, and I can tell you that this character is built on a broken system. We always hunted with defense sprays, always. Beginning Gazer Spectres from level 55. Of course, Unutamo Tempo and defense sprays. The next spawn was Burster Spectres at level 80. On level 120 we were able to hunt Cathedral. On level 175 a lot of things have changed because the Sorcerer got his debuff, so we went to Isavi, Goannas and Feral Sphinx. All of the spawns with defense sprays and far earlier than the level intention designed by Cipsoft. Now I'm asking you, if we take the intention behind the Soul War nerf from June 1st, I repeat, especially in regards to the level ranges that are currently able to hunt there profitably. If a respawn is designed for higher levels and low levels, starting this spawn with defense sprays, the result will be gaining XP in a broken, fast way. Due to the fact that these low levels will gain a level in 5 to 30 minutes depending on the respawn, the definition of this would be too profitable, correct? In the end you can ask yourself, should all the respawns be nerfed because the defense sprays are allowing the players to be too profitable for low levels? If we take this intention behind the Soul War nerf from Cipsoft, the answer would be yes. The main problem here is laying much deeper, and you can probably already guess. It is in fact the defense sprays. This is really bad because Cipsoft is offering you a product from the store. Players are using it, as you can see, for example, for a hard spawn like the Soul War. And in the end, players are getting punished for using the defense sprays because the spawn suddenly is too easy and too profitable and has to be nerfed. The real solution here is removing the defense sprays from the game, especially now when you can stack it with Utamo Tempo and the Zap Strange. On top of this, they could set a level requirement for the Soul War. This would also stop the possibility that a level 250 can gain a Soul War item with a Soul Service. But the real problem, guys, it stays. As you can see, you can start spawns with Brace on such an early level. The idea with the Taints is in fact a good idea, but the way the Taints are currently working, it simply doesn't work together with the way you're hunting the respawns. The Taints will make the hunting a lot uncleaner. That means the promised 4.5% buff would actually result in the same or even in a nerf. Sometimes you have to take a closer look to understand the whole picture. I honestly think that the server spawns have suffered enough. It was a new era for Tibia and made the spawn challenging, not just from the monster abilities but also from the map environment and the timing. While we can now say that Cipsoft officially killed another great respawn, the real broken thing and the origin of all these problems stays in Tibia, the defense brace. Stay positive and have a nice time. Kind regards, Lee.